नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे, नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, नमस्तेस्तु विश्वेश्वर त्रयम्बकेश गंगाधर, नमस्तेस्तु विश्वेश्वर त्रयम्बकेश गंगाधर, नंदिकेश भालचंद्र हे पशुपते, नंदिकेश भालचंद्र हे पशुपते, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे, नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, कृपा करो दुख हरो हर्ष भरो हे शंकर, कृपा करो दुख हरो हर्ष भरो हे शंकर, हृदय कंज सदा बसो हे शिव करुणानिधे, हृदय कंज सदा बसो हे शिव करुणानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे, नीलकण्ठ पार्वतीश हे कृपानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे, आदिदेव महादेव हे दयानिधे। सीतापते दाशरथे, सीतापते दाशरथे, दशरथ नंदन दयानिधे, दशरथ नंदन दयानिधे, सीतापते दाशरथे सीतापते दाशरथे दशरथनन्दन दयानिधे दशरथनन्दन दयानिधे राधापते पार्थ सखे राधापते पार्थ सखे राधापते पार्थ सखे राधापते पार्थ सखे देवकी नंदन दयानिधे देवकी नंदन दयानिधे देवकी नंदन दयानिधे देवकी नंदन दयानिधे सीतापते दाशरथे सीतापते दाशरथे दशरथनन्दन दयानिधे दशरथनन्दन दयानिधे जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय जगज्जननी जानकी रामा जय जगज्जननी जानकी रामा जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय जगज्जननी जानकी रामा जय जगज्जननी जानकी रामा नव नव कोमल मेघश्याम नव नव कोमल मेघश्याम भयहरणा भद्राचल रामा भयहरणा भद्राचल रामा भवहरणा भद्राचल रामा भवहरणा भद्राचल रामा दशरथनन्दन हे परन्धामा दशरथनन्दन हे परन्धामा दशमुखमर्दन श्री रघुरामा दशमुखमर्दन श्री रघुरामा जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय जगज्जननी जानकी रामा जय जगज्जननी जानकी रामा जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम जय रघुनन्दन जय जय राम 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 जय रघुनंदन जय जय राम जय रघुनंदन जय जय राम जय जगज्जननी जानकी राम जय जगज्जननी जानकी राम जय रघुनंदन जय जय राम।
गजाननं भूतगणासेवितं कपितजम्बो फलसारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शंकर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता। सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेष जाड्यापहा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। वन्दे गणपति विघ्नविनाशन हे लंबोदर गजानना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्नविनाशन हे लंबोदर गजानना। रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो, रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो। हे शशि शेखर नंदना, हे शशि शेखर नंदना। जो ध्यावे वांछित फल पावे, जो ध्यावे वांछित फल पावे, जो ध्यावे वांछित फल पावे, जो ध्यावे अग्रदेव तुम्हें वंदना। अग्रदेव तुम्हें वंदना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्नविनाशन हे लंबोदर गजानना। रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो, हे शशि शेखर नंदना। काम क्रोध मद लोभ व्याधि हरो, काम क्रोध काम क्रोध मद लोभ व्याधि हरो, काम क्रोध निर्विकार निर्मल मना, निर्विकार निर्मल मना, निर्विकार। वंदे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लंबोदर गजानना। वंदे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लंबोदर गजानना। रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो, रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो। हे शशि शेखर नंदना, हे शशि शेखर नंदना। जय जय गणपति गजानना, जय जय गणपति गजानना। जय लंबोदर गजानना, जय लंबोदर गजानना। जय जय गणपति गजानना, जय लंबोदर गजानना। जय जय गणपति गजानना, जय लंबोदर गजानना। जय जय गणपति गजानना, जय लंबोदर गजानना। जय लंबोदर गजानना। जय जय गणपति गजानना, जय जय गणपति गजानना। जय लंबोदर गजानना, जय लंबोदर गजानना। जय लंबोदर गजानना। बोले गजान स्वामी महाराज की जय। शारदे शारदे हंस वाहिनी शारदे, शारदे शारदे हंस वाहिनी शारदे। शारदे शारदे वाग्विलासिनी शारदे, शारदे शारदे वाग्विलासिनी शारदे। शारदे शारदे हंस वाहिनी शारदे, शारदे शारदे हंस वाहिनी शारदे। शंकर पूजित शारदे संतन वंदित शारदे शंकर पूजित शारदे संतन वंदित शारदे वीणा पानी शारदे विद्यादायिनी शारदे वीणा पानी शारदे विद्यादायिनी शारदे 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 हंसवाहिनी शारदे 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 हंसवाहिनी शारदे वाग्विलासिनी शारदे शंकर पूजित शारदे संतन वंदित शारदे वीणा पानी शारदे विद्यादायिनी शारदे विद्यादायिनी शारदे। सरस्वती माता की जय। वर्णानामर्थसंघानां रसानां छन्दसामपि मङ्गलानां च कर्तारौ वन्दे वाणी विनायकौ भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्थमीश्वरम् नानापुराणनिगमागमसम्मतं यद् रामायणे निगदितं क्वचिदन्यतोऽपि स्वान्तसुखाय तुलसीरघुनाथ गाथा भाषानिबन्धमतिमञ्जुलमातनोति भाषानिबन्धमतिमञ्जुलमातनोति। हरि ओम्। Okay, very special Hari Om and welcome to all members of Chinmay Mission Peoria and to all of those who are listening from other places as well. If you are joining us tonight for the first time, in this yajna we are seeing Shri Ram Charitamanas of Goswami Tulsidas Ji. Ram Charitamanas ehi nama, Tulsidas Ji writes. Shravana Sunat Pai Abhishrama. That anybody who listens to this, he gains supreme peace. And in this Ramcharitamanas, there are 7 kandas. We are seeing the 3rd kanda, it's called as Aranya Kanda. And in the Aranya Kanda also, there's a very small little portion, tiny portion, called as Rama Gita. Lakshmana asks 5 questions to Bhagavan Shri Ram. And Bhagavan Shri Ram is replying. And now we saw, so far, he has replied to 4 of those 5 questions already. Kahu Gyan Birag Rumaya, Kahu Bhagati, and Ishvara Jiva Bhed. These are the 5 questions. Gyan, knowledge. Birag, Vairagya, this passion. Maya. Maya is Maya, no translation for that. Bhakti means devotion. And last, the difference between Jiva and Ishvara means the individual and the supreme. What is the difference? Bhagavan dealt with all of those questions, but this number 4 question, which is Bhakti, he left it for last. You know, when you are eating and you have some nice food, you keep it for last, isn't it? Well, it depends on where you grow up. Some people, they eat that best one first also. But we always keep that nice guri That's a sweet thing. Dessert. Keep it for last. It like that only Bhagwan has kept this bhakti last. Huh? And now, before he gets into this bhakti also, he praises bhakti, but he backs up. And then let me step back a little bit and then praise this bhakti. This is a praise, that praise of bhakti as his introduction to bhakti. This is the idea. Huh? So now what is that praise? We'll chant that now after number 15 in this Aranyakand. After 15, we'll chant there. Just to pick up from where we left it last night. धर्मते बेरति जोगते ज्ञाना ज्ञान मोक्ष प्रद वेद बखाना जाते बेगी द्रवऊ में भाई सो मम भगति भगत सुखदाई सो सुतंत्र अवलंबन आना तेहि आधीन ज्ञान विज्ञान भगति तात अनुपम सुख मूला मिले ही जो संत होई अनुकूला श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम भगति की साधन कहऊ बखानी सुगम पंथ मोहि पावहि प्राणी हरे राम 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे सियावर रामचंद्र की जय वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय धर्मते बिरति this is now prashamsa praise of this bhakti Dharmate Birati is introduction before he gets into bhakti. So then 2.5 chaupais are given, Bhagwan gives. That is plenty in Ram Gita. Because Gyan is half a chaupai. Vairagya, half a chaupai. But just the praise of bhakti, 2.5 chaupais. This is to tell how important bhakti is for Bhagwan Shri Ram. You see? So he says in the first phrase, from dharma comes vairagya. And we know from our study of Vedanta, from viveka comes vairagya. Not from dharma. We have never heard this thing. You see? So last night, I started to trace this. How from dharma comes vairagya. I started telling you this. Now let us see this. What I told, we have had countless births. Step by step we go now. Please pay attention to all of these things. Shastric teaching is, we have all had countless births. You know, Bhagavad Gita, this is the teaching. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. I have had countless births and so have you, my dear Arjuna. Tani ham veta sarvani, I know all my births. Natvam veta parantapa, you don't know your births. There is a difference between. And that's why just now he said, no, the Jiva, Arjuna, he is Ajnani. Maya is an apu kahu, jan kahe so jeev. He doesn't know anything about anything. But Bhagwan is omniscient, sarvagnya, so he knows. So like that he's telling to Arjuna in the 4th chapter. Now see, we have had countless births in this first point. Second point, if we have had countless births, and in one birth, how many karmas we do? Oh, Bapre. How many karmas we engage in? Countless karmas. And when we perform some karma, it goes into our sanchita karma or not? Storehouse of karma. So if we have had countless births and we have done countless karmas, so in our sanchita karma, how many karmas are there? Countless multiplied by countless is how much? Well, infinite multiplied by infinite is infinite number of karmas. You see? That means what? See all of this very, very logical things of Shastras. Huh? So in my Sanchita karma, I have done countless, means every possible karma. That means what? See, some karmas are called as dharmic karmas, some karmas are adharmic karmas. Correct or not? Or in smaller words, some karmas are called as good karmas and some karmas are called as bad karmas. But we have done all. And I told now, here is the connection for satsanga. So I've done all different type of karmas. In my Sanchita karma, I have a storehouse of all karmas. But in this Ramcharitamanas of Goswami Tulsidas Ji, one of the very strong recurring theme from beginning to end, from Balkand to Uttarkand, is this thing called as satsang. And what does it do? See here. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram. Binu satsang विवेक न होई, राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई। Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई श्री राम राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई श्री राम जय राम बिनु सत्संग विवेक न होई राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय. In a very famous verse, and so many verses in Balkand, Tulsidas, she speaks about satsang. And what is the most important phrase there, Binu satsanga vivek na hui. The discriminative faculty will never become awakened without satsang. Means without the sangha, the association with noble people, noble souls, and a noble environment. Without that type of satsanga, and this thing is demonstrated everywhere in Ramayana. Hanumanji goes to Lanka, and Vibhishan has very clearly demonstrated his love for Bhagwan Sri Ram. He's put Rama Ankit on his door. The bow and arrow of Bhagwan Sri Ram is stuck on his door. And he has a mandir in front of his house, a little tulsi plant and everything in front of his house. Vibhishan. But he claims to be a devotee of Bhagwan Sri Ram. But not one day did he raise one finger to do any seva for Sita ji, or to help Bhagwan Sri Ram find Sita ji, or to bring some comfort to. She's there, imprisoned in Lanka. But Vibhishan, claiming to be a devotee of Bhagwan Ram, does nothing for the Lord. And Hanumanji comes, and one moment of satsang. Even Lankini praises his moment of satsang. One moment of satsang with Vibhishan, and he gets up now and he marches into the court of Ravan and tells him very boldly, what you have done is wrong. You should give back Sita ji now. But just only after satsang took place. Without that satsang, he was just sitting there, claiming to be a devotee, you see. Like that, throughout the Ramayana, the power and greatness of satsang is demonstrated. But here in this verse, Tulsidas says, Binu satsanga vivek na hui. Without satsang, discriminative faculty will not be awakened. Now, since I have done all sorts of karmas, good and bad, good and evil karmas, and they are all there in my storehouse, if I find myself in the company of good people, in good company, in good environment, what will happen? All of those karmas, good karmas which I have done, all of them will come to the forefront. They will be awakened. All sanskar which I have collected, all the sanskar which I have impressed upon my mind through all of those good karmas in past lives, they all become awakened in satsang. And in kusang, see, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram. साधु असाधु सदन सुख सारी सुमेर ही राम देहि गण गाई श्री राम जय राम. Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Syamar Ramachandra ki jai. Sadhu asadhu sadana sukhasari sumirahi Ram dehi ganigari. You take two parrots. The parrots were born in the same nest. You take two of them and you put one in the house of sadhu, sadhu purush, a good man, and you put one in the house of an evil man. This is then Balkand. Tulsidas is telling. So you put two parrots like this. They came from the same nest. And after some time, you go back and you find the parrot in the house of the sadhu. Sumirahi Ram. He'll chant the name of Ram. And the parrot in the house of that wicked man, Dehi Gani Gari. He'll give Gali. Gali means curse. How? Because in satsang, all the good sanskars which have been imbibed in so many previous lives, in satsang, all of them become awakened. And in kusang, all the bad sanskars of so many previous lives, they become awakened. So, satsang has the power of awakening all the great good sanskars that we have acquired in so many previous, means through all our good karmas. They have impressed things upon our mind, and that becomes awakened. That is why it is so important in all our lives and in our children's lives. And please pay attention to this. This is not any simple thing. These are fundamental teachings of Sanatana Dharma. Satsang is such a big thing. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. It starts from satsang only. It is so important that we take care to be in the right environment and keep our families and our children and everybody in the right environment. And right environment means where we are exposed to the right things. That is the idea. Where we are exposed to good things, where we are exposed to divinity. And see today, in today's world, what all our minds become exposed to so many things. So now in that satsang, all Purva Janma Arjita Sanskar, all the sanskars of all the previous lives, they become awakened based on which environment I find myself, or I put myself in. So in satsang, all the good sanskars, they come up now. See how connection we are making. In when I find myself in satsang, and all these good sanskars of previous births, they come up, they rise up, they become awakened in me. And then what? I engage myself in dharma. And all dharma is given, Bhagwan himself says, Ved Bakhana. Ved Bakhana. All these are given in Vedas. Now what is in Vedas? Two types of dharma is given there. One is called a pravritti dharma and the other is called a nivritti dharma. So what happens? Pravritti dharma is what we do on a daily basis. We follow all the rules of dharma, and I take care of my family, I do my duty, I give in charity, I make some contribution to the world in which I live, I all protect the environment, I make positive efforts to do all of these things. And there's varna ashrama dharma. All of these call as pravritti dharma. Means I belong to a certain caste, so I do the work of that caste. Or I belong to a certain stage in my life. Now I'm a student, I do the work of a student. Now I'm a householder, I do the work of a householder, or whatever, right? Like that. So varna ashrama dharma and all of these things. So they call us pravritti dharma. But nivritti dharma is now advanced dharma. What? I do nothing of any such thing. I only dedicate my life solely to Bhagwan. Only to doing nishkama karma. Working for the... See, Bhagwan is telling Arjuna, Lokasangraha me vapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. My dear Arjuna, look towards the benefit of humanity and work for the world. So my duty, and I will get this, and I will do this yajna, and I will get the benefit, and I will go to Swarga, and this and that, all of these things, that is all gone. I am only doing selfless karma. This is called a nivritti dharma. So in satsang, all the good sanskars become awakened, and I find myself now engaged, whether it is pravritti dharma or the advanced stage of dharma, which you call it nivritti dharma. I find myself now along that stage. Now see, if I am doing my duty, I engage myself in my duty, I'm very conscious and conscientious about fulfilling my duties and making my contribution to society and protecting the environment and doing so many type of dharmic things, right, righteous things, that will lead to dispassion or not, means I'm concerned about the environment. So right, people now who are concerned about the environment, quickly we give up many things, isn't it? So many people now, when they go to the supermarket, they carry their own bag, so you don't have to buy plastic. I mean, get plastic from there. So what, I pay attention, and there's so many things I renounce. I leave this thing. You see, so many things that we are engaging in that are damaging the environment, we leave them. So slowly like this, when I engage in pravritti dharma, I start developing dispassion, detachment from many things. And if I am concentrating on taking care of my family, I'm concentrating on taking care of the environment, I'm concentrating on taking care of the world and all of this, then I will not be harming that world, and I will not be overindulging and so many things. Nah, slowly I develop detachment. And in nivritti dharma, when I only live and do selfless work, that time I renounce even more. I give up even. I have no desire to acquire or get anything in this world. I am only an instrument in the hands of Bhagwan, like that. And the highest stages of this, I even renounce kartritva bhav and bhoktritva bhav also, doership and enjoyership. All of these I renounce. So from dharma, birati will come, total renunciation of even kartritva and bhoktritva. So this is why I started by telling, see, we started very slowly, countless births, countless karmas. So any one of those karmas can be awakened in the personality. And this is why satsang is so important, because we want to awaken all the good sanskars of previous births. Those good sanskars of previous births will make me engage in all dharmic things, and dharma will slowly make me renounce all adharma. I renounce all adharma. I graduate in stages of dharma, from pravritti to nivritti dharma, where I live a selfless life, only working as an instrument in the hands of Bhagwan. You see, total renunciation it leads. Dharma te birati. Now you tell. Jogte jnana. See, next word, next phrase. Jogte jnana. From yoga comes jnana. What is yoga? Yoga is given by Patanjali. In Patanjali Sutras, Patanjali ji gave yoga chitta vritti nirodha. You have heard this? It's a very famous phrase of Yoga Sutras. Chitta vritti nirodha means what? All vrittis of the mind have ceased, stopped. Now you just think. The mind is racing, the mind is running here and there. For what reason? Our mind, see, people ask this question all the time. Swamiji, how to control this mind? Why does the mind, see, especially when you sit to meditate or do japa, why does the mind run here and there? Very simple answer. Please pay attention to this. The mind runs here and there because that mind is attached to something or the next, not something, countless things. It is attached to countless things. So the attachment is there. So what the mind needs is detachment. And how detachment comes? Dharma. Dharma te birati. From dharma comes detachment. This detachment, I told you, has stages, where I detach even from the feeling of I am a doer and I am a enjoyer. I detach. I give up dehatma buddhi also. I am this body. So many things are there. and I adopt Sarvatma Buddhi. So it's a renunciation of Dehatma Buddhi, that I am this body. It's a false thing, so I renounce it. So renunciation goes higher and higher. When I detach from all things like this, all the vrittis of the mind will cease. So chitta vritti nirodha, they will cease, stop. Then what? I will discover my true nature. So jogte jnana. From yoga comes jnana. See, because the final stage of yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. All vrittis of the mind cease. And because the mind is going on, we saw in previous days, the mind is actually the instrument which causes the apparent fragmentation, or the apparent dualization, there is no such word, but dualization of something which is non-dual. So that mind which ceases, when all its vrittis cease, that mind discovers its true nature. That is called jnana. So jogate jnana. Then the next phrase, jnana moksha prada. When that mind discovers its true nature, that jnana results in moksha. That is called as moksha. Jnana moksha prada. Jnana brings moksha. And who says? Bhagavan Sri Ram says, Veda Bakhana. All the Vedas say, Rite jnanat na mukti. Without jnana, no mukti. The Vedas say like that. So the scriptures, Bhagavan is of course quoting, telling, the Vedas say like that. Then jate begi dravau mein bhai so mama bhagati bhagat sukadai. Now see, Bhagavan says, in spite of all that, in spite of all that, I am saying, but that thing which makes my heart melt very fast. Begi dravau melt very fast. It's not like when you put, if you put steel in front of the fire, nothing. But if you put ghee in front of the fire, you know that jam gaya ghee, a jam gayi ghee. You know, the ghee that has frozen up. What is it? Frozen? Gone to sleep. So you put that ghee in front of the fire, then pighal jate. I mean, it wakes up, melts. So Bhagwan says, that thing which makes my heart melt like that, so mama bhagati, bhagat sukhadai. That is prem, love for me. Mama bhagati. And then bhagata sukhadai. This devotion or love for Bhagwan, he says, it gives joy to the bhakta. And then he continues in the next verse, he says, so sutantra avalamba na ana. It is independent. Bhakti is independent. Meaning what? Jnana is not. Jnana is not independent. See, look here. I'll just give you a simple example. If you want to go and study Jnana in our Vedanta course in Mumbai or here in Trinidad, wherever, right? First thing, you have to go to university and get a degree. So this, your study of Jnana, acquisition of Jnana is dependent on that degree. If you did not get a degree, well, no problem. You cannot come here. You see? So this Jnana is dependent on that thing. But if you are going to any place where there is bhakti, where there is devotion, so what is the qualification? No qualification. Anybody can go. Easy thing. So sutantra, it is independent. This bhakti, for devotion, independent. Avalambana ana, it depends on nothing else. Jnana is dependent on so many things. And in different periods of history, dependencies are more. So you have to be at one point of the correct caste. and another point of the correct gender, all sorts of things. So it's dependent like that. And for jnana, oh, you have to develop all these viveka, vairagya, samadhi, shatka, sampatti. If you don't develop, then what? Shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam, not possible. So now, what are the qualifications for bhakti? But actually, for bhakti, the qualifications, the worst of you are, the better. Because it is the person who is really, that's why this Rama in every way. Bhagwan Ram is called as Ati Deena Dayalu. You see? Ati Deen, Komala Chit Ati Deena Dayalu, Karana Binu Raghunatha Kripalu. He is the one who is Komal Chit, means of soft, tender heart. And then what? Ati Deena Dayalu means compassionate to the most helpless. So the more destitute I am, the better the qualification. Because that is the one Bhagwan Ram pays attention to. Not that I have to have this qualification or that. This bhakti is totally independent of all qualifications. So, sutantra, avalambana ana, it depends on nothing. Teya deen jnana vigyan. In fact, it says jnana and vigyan, they depend on this bhakti. Jnana vigyan depend on devotion. It means to say, if I don't have devotion, jnana will never sit properly in my mind. And if jnana doesn't sit properly in my mind, vigyan is not possible. That is the idea. What is this jnana vigyan? I'll tell you, in our Vedanta, jnana vijnana nashanam, Bhagavan talks in Gita, many times this phrase comes. Jnana and vigyan, in many places. So what jnana means, let me tell you two other words to see if it will become easier. I'll tell you in English also. Jnana is of two types. One is called as paroksha jnana and the other is called as aparoksha jnana. What in English? Mediate knowledge and immediate knowledge. That is more difficult. Let me try to simplify that even. See, jnana means to know that Brahman is everything. Vijnana means to know I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Jnana is to know Brahman is all pervasive, everything. But to know that I myself am Brahman, not intellectually, to really realize that is called as Vijnana. But he says this thing is dependent on bhakti. How this thing? See this, To know Brahman and to know I am Brahman, there are two things. And the first one precedes. I must first know Brahman. Then only I can know that I am Brahman. But to know Brahman is not possible without this bhakti, without devotion. It means the knowledge of Brahman will not stay in my mind. It will not stay in the mind of a person who is lacking in a bhakti rahit, devoid of bhakti. So what will stay in his mind? Only intellectual jargon. Intellectual jargon only will stay there. And as soon as it comes in this air, it will just go out. Bhakti is that thing which keeps it. You know why? Shraddhate iti shraddha, because shraddha is an integral part of bhakti. And that shraddha keeps that knowledge in that person's mind, doesn't go. And then he is able to dwell on it. Because if he doesn't retain it, he cannot dwell on anything. What you will dwell on if you don't have nothing? But hey, if you have nothing in your mind, what you will dwell on? Shraddha is an integral part of bhakti, and that shraddha and that devotion keeps that knowledge, and he is able to dwell on that knowledge to make that knowledge aparoksha. He's able to dwell on that paroksha jnana to make it aparoksha. So, jnana and vijnana also now dependent on this bhakti. But bhakti dependent on jnana and vijnana? No. Avalamba na ana. No support. No, it doesn't depend on anything. Bhagati tat anupama sukhamula. Again and again. So, bhagata sukhadai. Yeah, anupama sukhamula. In Sundarkand, there's a very nice verse. When Hanumanji relates the story of Ram, Sitaji, who is there imprisoned, Sitaji, who is not eating, whose body has become lean, who never raised her head to look up, was looking down only. Tulsidas describes Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Ramchandra Guna Barane Laga सुनत ही सीता कर दुख भागा रामचंद्र गुण भरने लागा सुनत ही सीता कर दुख भागा श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम Syamara Ramachandra ki jai. Sitaji in such a state of sorrow in Lanka, and Hanumanji relates all the gunas and glories and the love of Bhagwan Sri Ram and his compassion and all such gunas of Bhagwan Ram. And when Sitaji heard this, it awakened in her heart that devotion for Bhagwan Ram. And she to Sitaji says, Kar dukh bhaga. All her sorrows went away, scampered away. Bhagati Anupama Sukha Mula. It is the very root of devotion. Bhagata Sukhadai. It gives joy to the bhakta. And the result of bhakti is not later, See, result of Gyan? Well, first, you go there and you study Tattva Bodh. Then what you get? Nothing. No result is there, isn't it? You study Tattva Bodh. Atma Kaha. What is Atma? Then Viveka Kaha. Vairagya Kaha. Shraddha Ka. One by one you study. And what you get? Some more confusion. And after you study all of these things, then you go and you do some Shravanam. Shravanam, the teacher will tell what? Tattvamasi. Oh, Tattvamasi. Then you Jahala Jahal Lakshana to establish what is Tattvamasi Mahavakya. And as you go along, more and more confusion. And the result, and then then we die. Because I did not get mukti in this jnana and all. बेचारा मर गए, उड़ गए हंस. Then next life we come back. We find ourselves in Kusang and forget everything. But bhakti is like, see, bhakti is like eating food. But when you're hungry, right? I'm hungry. I have not had a one fellow stop by some house and knock. He was hungry, and he knocked on that door, and a kid came out, and he said, "Oh my God, please help me. I haven't had a bite in days." That kid said, "No problem," and the kid beat him. That is English language for you. I haven't had a bite in days. But if you are hungry like that, right, and you are South Indian, and somebody brings masala dosa with coconut chutney and tomato chutney also, and sambar, you get more prayer more than Pramod will come just now. But see what happens when we eat that same time, because I'm South Indian and I get South Indian food, and we say, we get joy while eating. Eh? The joy doesn't come the next day, you know. While eating itself, that joy comes that time, correct or not? Then the moment that dosa reaches your belly, that time only, all your hunger. So I eat today and my hunger goes tomorrow. Does it happen? Or 1 hour later? No. Then also, I was feeling weak, you know. Within moments of that feeling weak from hunger, I feel, when I see dosa only, I feel lively. What to talk about eat? You see? So this is bhakti. Gyan, you eat today and your belly gets filled tomorrow. You see, there's a big difference between this thing. So sukha mula, means this sadhana sadhya in bhakti is one and same. And while engaging in bhakti itself, while um, expressing my love for Bhagavan Sri Ram, that time itself I feel joy of expressing that love. It is not some other time and all that. You see, this is the difference. Here Bhagavan Sri Ram is trying to make, and throughout this Ramcharitmanas, this is all the way down to Uttarkand, the same thing will come again. This is the bhakti which has immediate result. The goal and the means is one and same. That is the idea. So sutantra valambana ana teyadina jnana vijnana bhagati tat anupama sukhamula. Anupama means incomparable. Nothing can compare to bhakti. Incomparable. Bhagati tat anupama sukhamula. And the very root of all joy. It brings joy immediately. You see, when we study some Upanishadic principle, that thing I told you, it brings confusion first. Then long after, when we really get it, oh, I got it, then that only eureka comes. Eureka comes way down. Maybe next lifetime also. So the joy comes that time. But it's bhakti. You see now. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Rama, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. See, singing the Lord's name, singing the glories of God, one gets joy that time itself. And this is bhakti, and that is not dependent on some other thing, you see, some extraneous, external thing. This is the idea. It brings us joy that time. Sukhamula milai jo sant hoi anukula. This is also very nice. I see, just now I started this whole thing today by telling that if we don't have the company of good people, this thing is not possible. Because what, there's one more thing to be said about this. Please see. If a human being is left to the elements, please see. If a human being is left to the elements, in all likelihood, the human being is going to turn out to be animalistic in orientation rather than humanistic. That is a true thing. Left unparented, left unguided, left untaught, left unsanskarized, that human being will turn out to be animal only. Because it is much easier to engage in something evil than to engage in something good. See, there's an apple there. It belongs to that other person. So, to work and get money and buy the apple from the other person is much more difficult than stealing the apple. The evil thing is much easier. So he steal it, and when that fellow is not looking, take it and go. So left untaught, left unguided, untrained, and all such things, the human being will immediately or quickly gravitate towards all the evil things. That is why it's so important to have to guide children from young age. That's why our Bal Vihar is so important and all, you see. So now, when that person is able to find himself in satsang, or somebody introduces him to satsang, or he keeps himself in satsang, the company of good people, then what happens? His all sanskar of previous lives, they awaken. All his devotion, all his practices, and all things that he has engaged. This is one more reason why it is not good to write off anybody. Everybody has a chance. Everybody has an opportunity again to leave adharma and come back to dharma. It is not good for this reason, because in his sanchita karma also, he has all good sanskar of previous births. That just was not awakened. This is the rationale for teaching also. Otherwise, people have arguments, but no, he came with his karmas, His karmas is like that, nobody could do anything. Then why you teach? Why we teach? Why all traditions are engaged in teaching? If his karmas are like that, he'll turn out like that. Then teaching has no rationale. You see? So, he finds himself in, or he's introduced by his parents or by somebody to satsang. And in satsang, when the saint or the sadhu keeps him in that environment. See, sant hoi anukula. Sant hoi anukula means by when they become favorable. He encourages, engages that person in that satsang. His own sanskar of previous births are awakened. And his love for the Lord, which he has practiced in so many previous births. Like a Kar Bushundi in Uttarakhand, you'll see, if you go there, so many births of love for Bhagwan Ram, love for Bhagwan Shiva, like that. So that is awakened in the company of saints. That is the idea. Bhakti ki sadhan kahu bakhani. This bhakti sadhana, I am going to now tell. Bhakti sadhana. Sugama Panth, it is easy also. Sugama Panth means this bhakti marg is easy. Gyan marg? Tough. That is the idea. In the Kathopanishad, it is described like a razor's edge, Okay, in this Ramcharan, Tulsidashi also describes same thing. Tulsidashi was a great scholar of Upanishads and Gita and everything. So he describes it. So he says, this bhakti marga sugama panta mohi pavahi prani, by which that devotee can reach me. See, look here. Gyan marg and bhakti marg are usually described, or an example is used to show the difference between two of them. One is called as markatavat, and the other is called as bidalavat. Bidalavat means like a cat. Markatavat means like a monkey. What monkey and cat and all know this thing. So if you see, those of you who have come from India, or those of you here in Trinidad, if you come, you have not seen this. Huh? You have to go to India only to see. There's so many monkeys everywhere. And if you see that baby that baby is always grabbing on to the underbelly of the mother. And the mother is jumping from tree to tree. But the baby is grabbing onto the underbelly of that mother. If he doesn't hold on, and that mother is jumping in mid-air and he lets go, gone. He'll die. So he has to hold on for his dear life. That is a markatavat. Bidalavat, like that cat. That little kitten, he only has to stay there and he bends his head like that. And then he goes meow and he does nothing. And that mother comes there and takes him by the neck and carries him everywhere. He just has to surrender. Surrender means sar under. He needs to put his head under. He surrender only and the mother takes care. So he does nothing. He surrenders to Bhagwan. Bhagwan takes care. And the monkey, he has to hold on with his own strength and power. If he doesn't hold, he'll die. So that is called Gyani, that monkey. And there's a cat, Bhakta. Meow. So it's a Sugama Panth. Easy. Surrender to Bhagwan. And Mohi Pavai Prani. And that Prani means Jiva. He reaches me through this bhakti. No. He just now Bhagwan said, I'm going to describe this bhakti. So he'll describe this bhakti tomorrow. We'll see. Tomorrow is Friday. Okay. Now, before we have the announcements and all, let me speak with you a few minutes about very important thing in our Chinmay mission. See, Chinmay mission worldwide, in so many countries across this whole globe, the sun never sets in Chinmay mission, So now, it has set here in Chinmay mission Trinidad, but it's still up in Chinmay mission LA. Like that. Or some other place in Australia. Is up. So this huge, vast mission, which was started by our Pujya Gurudev, runs how? Well, we take knowledge from Pujya Gurudev and we just disseminate that knowledge everywhere across this globe, right? That is what we have been doing for the last 50, 60 years. Take the knowledge and disseminate. And what is the charge for disseminating? No charge. Free. The knowledge is just given to all and sundry, free. Who comes, they are allowed to take free. Free of cost. So, how would such a mission run? And see how many activities the mission is engaged in. So many various types of activities we engage in, isn't it? How it will run. If there's a Balvihar class, there is some sort of donation which is given for the Balvihar class, right? But then a yajna like this, where the mission will get funds from to run. Well, Gurudev revived a very nice ancient practice, and that is Guru Dakshina system. Guru Dakshina system is when anybody received knowledge from the Guru, from a teacher in the old days, that person will give something in return. And this is really a very natural thing, yeah? A very natural thing. You see, it doesn't have to be only with knowledge. If we receive anything from anybody, we feel grateful or not? Anything we receive. My neighbor comes over and on his side he has a papaya tree, and from there he picks up a nice papaya and brings for me, and he just gives me selflessly, not expecting anupakarine, not expecting anything in return. So you feel grateful or not? We do. Gratitude is a natural outflow of a civilized heart. So, in the very same way, this old tradition is there. When the student receives some knowledge from the teacher, he expresses gratitude by giving some Guru Dakshina, old system. Now, that tradition was taught to every child. So it became natural for a child when he grew up as an adult to give something in return. And when such things get embedded in the consciousness of a civilization, it becomes like a rule. Hmm? So it was the rule of the time, convention. So Puja Gurudev made it like this. We will not make it a rule or a convention or any such thing. We leave it very much open to the person who is listening, who is participating in the yajna, very much open. It is not mandatory. We say, if you have received knowledge and you want to express your gratitude, then you can give some Guru Dakshina for the running and perpetuation of this mission. Because just as it has brought benefit to you, it can bring benefit to others in future also. That is, if you like what the mission is doing and you want to see it grow and continue, then you give and let it grow and continue. And it is not mandatory. Don't go and tell, oh bapre, I went to that Chinmay mission, again they gave me this envelope and I felt so bad if I did not put something in that envelope. I will, so therefore I put my address. Not like that. So for those of you who want to um, give Guru Dakshina to Chinmay mission, please, now our Suriji will be telling you there are various ways in which you can do this. He'll explain to you. Huh? All right.
Thank you. For Pranam Swamiji, thank you very much for the lucid, most illustrative and wonderful explanation of the place of bhakti on our inner journey. Thank you very much, Swamiji. We are looking forward for the extension of this tomorrow. Also, thank you for introducing the Guru Dakshina. I'm going to share the screen and I will show you where you can visit our website, Chinmaya Mission Peoria. Therein, you will see a little bit below Sri Rama Gita Pujya by Pujya Swami Prakashananda ji. We have a link for Zoom sessions here. Right below that link is the place where you can click on this donate button and express your gratitude. That's one way of doing it. Or those who are local here in Peoria or outside, if you want to send a check, we will publish the address tomorrow to where to mail it to. We don't have the envelopes, as Swamiji said. We can give you the envelope electronically, but you can do electronic bank transfers, or you can do donate using your credit card, or we will publish the address tomorrow. You can send in your donations as a gratitude to what we heard and what we're going to hear. Also, at the same time, while you're here doing Guru Dakshina, please take a time to log your questions here. Click here to submit your questions. Today's session should raise a lot of doubts about why we are studying scriptures and the place of bhakti and all that. So Swamiji is the right person to ask those questions. Please do log your questions here, and we will have a very fruitful session on Saturday. So again, we request, again, as Swamiji said, it's not a mandatory thing, but we request that in order to continue providing these kind of things, we also need some resources to manage. So we appreciate your generous donations. Now going to announcements. We have Swamiji doing the e-camp with the Chinmaya Mission Orlando, sponsored by Chinmaya Mission Orlando, on from December 21st to 27th on Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. Registration is required. It's not only Swamiji's teachings that you get benefit of, you also get the benefit of engaging in learning Sanskritam. There is glory of Sanskritam, Vedic chanting is also available, and kids will have their own activities. The registration is required. The tariffs are mentioned there. You can see the early bird registration. Swamiji will be, we will get a chance to chant Vishnu Sahasranamam along with Swamiji. That's a wonderful opportunity to avail of. That's from December 21st to 27th. That's one event we want to make sure you take advantage of and participate in. And also, I would like to say there is, I hope you can see the screen. Yesterday, we flashed this. This is Chinmaya Mission, Kansas City, doing fundraising event called Samarpanam. Swamiji and Swami Sharada Kumar from Michigan, from Chinmaya Mission Ann Arbor, will be hosting these sessions. If you can see the fine print there, the cultural events also include stand-up comedy, classical dance, etc. So please avail of this. This is on December 12th, that is day after tomorrow, at 5 p.m. our local time, which means Swamiji will be able to come back at 6:30 for our session. So these are the announcements. Again, thank you, Swamiji, for a wonderful session on Bhakti today. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.